people will tell 9 people. Then we'll have 18 people loving the show. And 18 people could grow into 525,600 people, all loving our show.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Broadway musicals that closed too soon.
I will never understand if I live 1,000 lifetimes why you did the things you did for me.
For this list, we'll be looking at the shows whose time on the Great White Way was ultimately cut short. And while we're super happy for musicals like Beetlejuice returning to Broadway, we will only be focusing on the shows that remain closed.
Yes, I hear that sound. Yes, we hear that beautiful sound. We do what's loud and means no more condescending adults hanging around.
Musicals with revivals are still eligible though, since they're new iterations with different casts. What musical do you think deserved a longer run? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Based on the 1988 Pedro Almodóvar film of the same name, Women on the Verge had enough star power to light up 42nd Street.
And then one morning he was gone. A day went by and he was gone.
Stage icons Patti LuPone, Brian Stokes Mitchell, Lara Benanti, and Sherry Renee Scott were just some of the leading players in the black comedy musical. The show stirred up quite the buzz around the Broadway hive.
Hey, you're that actress, aren't you?
Which one?
They went from the commercials. You know who I mean.
Yes, I am.
Chronicling the love lives of women in Madrid, the musical had all the makings of a hit. Unfortunately, low box office numbers caused the show to close before its scheduled end, and after only 30 previews and 69 performances, it gave investors a breakdown of their own.
You can't take math personally.
Number 9. Sideshow. Premiering in the late 90s, Sideshow received a fair number of positive reviews from critics.
I'm Daisy. I'm Violet. What else would you like to know?
The musical drama told the story of real-life sisters and conjoined twins, Daisy and Violet Hilton, who were big names on the vaudeville circuit between the 1920s and 30s. The show made history when leads Emily Skinner and Alice Ripley received a co-nomination for Best Performance by a Leading Actress in a Musical at the 1998 Tony Awards. Despite all the praise, the show just couldn't find an audience and closed after only 91 performances.
Who will ever call to say I love you? Send me flowers or a telegram. Who could proudly stand beside me?
Its 2014 revival met a similar fate when it closed 7 weeks after its premiere. However, not all hope is lost. The material has found new life as a popular selection in regional theaters across America.
Evermore and always, we'll be one though we're two. For I will never leave you.
Number 8. The Wild Party. Like a cross between Chicago and The Great Gatsby, this show was a jazzy, booze-soaked extravaganza.
When was the last time we had a real party? Wet and wicked, fast and fun and wild.
Starring Toni Collette, Eartha Kitt, and Mandy Patinkin, everything about it seemed like it had a bright future.
I hear you're taking talent, I do. I'm a headline with the best.
Based on a poem by Joseph Moncure March, the story dropped the audience into a 1920s off-the-wall party, a place where passion, tempers, and alcohol run rampant.
Some are born to rise above sleepless nights and slow gin love. I was born to ask, why was I born?
Despite being nominated for a Tony for Best Musical, this gathering was just a little too wild for theatergoers, it seems. After only 68 performances, the party ended.
The higher the high, the harder you're gonna crash.
Number 7. Bonnie and Clyde. With two big names up on the marquee and a famous story, it seemed that a musical about America's most notorious bank robbers would be, well, bulletproof.
Place that we go, folks will turn their heads. They'll be hollering from Dodge to Denver. We are the pair that will discuss. Yes, this world will remember us.
Jeremy Jordan and Laura Osnes had the perfect amount of onstage chemistry to make the two thieves/lovers likable.
How about a dance? Let's make a start. Music like this can really throw you.
However, some harsh reviews were the fatal blow that stopped the show in its tracks, and the curtain dropped after only 36 performances. Unlike the real-life pair, Bonnie and Clyde didn't last very long, but luckily met a fate that was much less gruesome. Number 6. Catch Me If You Can. Using the Steven Spielberg movie as its source material, this musical took flight in 2011, though it didn't quite land.
Mix and match me, try to catch me if you can. Oh, I got a story that's strange but true.
I got a story that's strange but true.
Featuring Aaron Tveit and Norbert Leo Butz, the show follows the true story of conman Frank Abagnale. It even won Butz his second Tony Award, and helped a post next to normal Tveit obtain leading man status.
'Cause the game ain't worth winning if you're breaking all the rules. Don't break the rules, or else we're living in a wild, wild west.
But thanks to some mixed reviews, the show didn't earn the buzz it needed to stay afloat. Eventually, Catch Me If You Can called off the chase, and the musical ended after 166 curtain calls, according to Playbill.
I'm tired of living on the stage, a life that's only on the page. The empty lies are in the past.
Number 5. The Bridges of Madison County. As one of the most romantic movies ever, The Bridges of Madison County, it seemed fitting that a musical adaptation would eventually become part of its legacy.
Whatever fate the stars are weaving, we're not breaking, I'm not leaving.
Composer Jason Robert Brown took the heartbreaking story of a housewife and photographer's brief affair and set it to some of the most gorgeous music to ever appear on Broadway. Thanks to Kelly O'Hara's heavenly operatic stylings and Stephen Pasquale's exquisite tone, the show didn't fail to evoke an emotional response from audiences.
To you and I have just 1 second and a million miles to go.
However, a finicky box office caused the show to end with what Playbill reports as 100 shows. Much like the story itself, not everything can have a happy ending.
And the only thing that mattered was the 4 days in your arms, and it all fades away but you.
Number 4. Title of show. Trading in spectacle for solid story, Title of Show was a bare-bones, stripped-down, and intimate show beloved by Broadway fans.
I would know that confidence if I knew a way back to then.
A love letter to theater kids. This meta-musical was about a group of friends writing a musical, written by collaborators Jeff Bowen and Hunter Bell. The story was based around their real-life experience penning an original one-act musical for the New York Musical Theater Festival.
What if this dialogue were set to music? What if what we're saying could be said in a song?
Hey, that's not a bad idea, perhaps we could use it. Music in a musical, how can we go wrong?
Full of heart and a devoted fan base, the curtain closed on their 102nd performance. Like the show's most famous number says, it was always better to be 9 people's favorite thing than 100 people's 9th favorite thing.
I'd rather be 9 people's favorite thing than 100 people's 9th favorite thing. 9 people's favorite thing than 100 people's 9th favorite thing.
Number 3. Natasha, Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812. Having 336 performances is a triumph in the cutthroat world of Broadway. But it still wasn't enough for this masterpiece.
They say we never sleep until we fall in love. And I'm so ready.
Following just a section of the Russian literary epic War and Peace, the bold and imaginative musical was a hit with both critics and audiences. But after Josh Groban left the show, actor Okyriete Olnaudawan stepped in.
It is just really great to see different people do it to kind of find a through line between them. Because there's one thing that makes Pierre Pierre, so it's cool to see different people in the role to be like, oh, that's what it is. That's like the core aspect of him.
Reeling from the financial hit of Groban's exit, the producers decided to boost sales by recasting Mandy Patinkin in Okyriete's role for a short run. The move caused controversy, sparking social media outrage as members of the theater community came to the defense of Olnaudawan. Declining ticket sales and bad press led to the demise of a show that could have run for years. Number 2. Big Fish. Imaginative and full of heart, Big Fish was expected to make a big splash when it leapt from screen to stage in 2013.
On a wing or on a prayer, you'll get there only with your voice.
They pulled out all the stops for this musical adaptation of both the Daniel Wallace novel and the Tim Burton film. Starring Norbert Leo Butz and Kate Baldwin, along with a large ensemble, the show is about a man trying to make sense of his father's tall tales.
But then a feeling comes like 50,000 drums all banging, bringing my stories home to you.
No matter how much spectacle, the material didn't dazzle the way it did on film. After only 98 performances, Big Fish departed the Neil Simon Theater, but it still lives on in the imagination of its fans.
It's a combination of a great time and food for the soul. I really do think the show has both of those, and that's rare in a Broadway musical.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Wonderland, A New Alice. Modern retelling of the Lewis Carroll novels that disappeared down the rabbit hole shortly after opening.
Something's changing deep inside me, breaking through.
First Date, an original musical starring Zachary Levi about contemporary dating that didn't get a second date.
But that's just a first impression. I could be totally wrong. It's only a first impression. And though the impression is strong, it never can hurt to question.
Tuck Everlasting, based on the classic American novel about an immortal family proved to have an expiry date. Amélie, based on the French film about a young woman attempting to do good deeds in Paris.
I might be a dreamer, but it's gotten me this far, and that is far enough for me.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Parade. over 20 years later, and this show's untimely closure still has Broadway devotees buzzing.
It means the crowds will not be cheering, so despite what you've been hearing, you can lay down your spade.
It's based on the true story of Leo Frank, a pencil factory superintendent who was accused of murdering Mary Fagan in 1913. Today, researchers believe that Frank was innocent, blaming anti-Semitism and the media circus surrounding the case. Jason Robert Brown crafted a hauntingly beautiful score, and with mesmerizing performances by the late Brent Carver and Carolee Carmello, the show was a standout.
All the wasted time, all the million hours, years on top of years, still too proud to cry. Despite this, many audiences weren't thrilled by the show's grim subject matter. 84 performances later, the show closed. There has yet to be a Broadway revival of Parade, but here's hoping that the show will get a second chance in the spotlight.
But suddenly loud as a mortar, there is hope, finally hope.
Yes, Leo, there's hope.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.